let's be honest, if I could live in New Jersey and live in my hometown and have everything I would ever need and be able to perform full time and do all that, I would. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Bri and welcome to my channel. So for this week's video, I am gonna do a simple little park and bark type of chat. I'm gonna be answering a question that I get a lot, and I've been getting a lot ever since I moved down here to Florida. And I'm gonna break it down. We're gonna answer the age-old question, and I'm gonna give you a little insight on my answers to this, and we can just keep everyone in the loop. Something I get asked a lot whenever people find out that I moved basically across the country, coming down to Florida, is they ask if I ever regret it. They ask if I do ever regret moving to Florida and leaving New York and New Jersey and leaving that life behind and kind of taking like the literal biggest risk of my life coming down here. And it's not like the most simple answer, so I'm gonna answer it in this video. But basically, if you don't really know what I'm talking about, I currently live in Orlando. I'm an Orlando performer. I work in the family entertainment industry, so that focuses a lot on the theme parks. That's also any show whose story is geared towards families and children. That's kind of what I specialize in. Now, I graduated college in 2018. I went to school in Florida, not far from Orlando. So I had already spent kind of 4 years down here, but then right after graduation, moved back up north to New Jersey and started working professionally out there in like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and worked pretty consistently. I mean, for like a good year and a half, I just went from contract to contract, moving to various states, or for some was able to live at home and just kind of commute to the job and stuff like that. So I was able to kind of make a lot of really great money, save up, pay off my student loans, do all that fun stuff. I got a lot of experience with a lot of different companies and met a lot of different people. So it was a really great time. It was definitely a good thing to do right out of college. But I wouldn't say it was the easiest time, just because I was moving around constantly. And when I was home and commuting into either the city for auditions or work or performances or whatever, one wasn't an easy commute. I have a whole video describing my commute to New York, which I'll link up above, but it was, I kid you not, 2.5 to 3 hours each way from the time I left my house to the time I got to my job or got to the audition location. And I did that literally every single day for almost a good year. So it was by no means easy, and it took a lot out of me. I had no social life, and it was just kind of weighing it on me, and I knew I needed to make a change. So the change was that I had to move somewhere, and the move was either like one of 3 options. It was either I move into the city and continue auditioning and performing out there, or I move to the northern part of New Jersey, right across the river from the city. So it's still, I'd still have access to like a car and stuff like that, but I wasn't like fully in the city, or I had to move somewhere else. And I was kind of like figuring out where that place would be and what the best fit for me would be and somewhere I could see myself long term. And that's kind of when Orlando started to kind of pop into my brain. I worked for Disney right at the very end of 2019, which is right before I ended up moving. And that really solidified my decision because I just loved the company so much. I loved what I got to do and wanted to continue doing it down here in Orlando. So I made that decision. I was gonna pack up my life right after that contract and move all the way down to Orlando. I had found a room with one of my best friends and just kind of wanted to start my life out there, but I didn't have a job lined up. I had literally nothing set in stone. It was just kind of like all I had was a place to live, and I was gonna figure it out from there. And it was extremely stressful. I went through a lot of anxiety. It definitely took like a really huge adjusting period. And I'm not someone who likes to do things on a whim. I am someone who likes to plan till the cows come home. I want everything to be planned out for me and to know exactly what's gonna happen next. And this was by no means that type of situation. We also know what happened in the beginning of 2020, that good old Corona came on in and like really shifted things for a loop, because I was doing well auditioning down here and then that kind of put everything on a big halt, and I had no idea when my industry was going to come back. I had no idea when auditions would happen again, and I was just kind of stuck. I was doing a serving job at a sports bar that I really hated, and like just wasn't happy and just felt really hopeless, and there was just no end in sight, and that was hard for a lot of performers to deal with, but I was having a really hard time with it because it was also the first time I had like had a long period of time that I wasn't performing, and I just felt really uninspired. But would I say I regret moving to Florida? No. I think Orlando is honestly the perfect fit for me, and I've been loving my time here now that the entertainment industry is coming back and I'm able to perform. I'm performing in my 3rd show currently with Legoland, which I really love working for that company. And I'll start with Universal in the fall, so things are kind of starting to pick up again, and auditions are coming back, and it's looking like a brighter future. But I also think back to what would my life have been if I didn't move to Florida, if I stayed in New Jersey through this whole pandemic and everything like that. Basically what would have happened is I finished my contract with Disney. I would have gone back to another contract I had left, which was I opened a new theme park in northern New Jersey doing character work for them, so I would have probably gone back to them. I would have been working there up till the pandemic, and then I would have been put on furlough like everyone else. But I know New Jersey's unemployment system was like real rough, so it probably would have been a lot harder for me to go through them, and I would have been at home, which was nice, so I wouldn't have had like rent or stuff to like bills to pay and that type of stuff, but I would have just been home with my family, which would have been fine. But I mean, I would have had a lot less opportunities to perform because the audition scene came back a lot later in New York than it did down here in Florida. So I would have had an even longer period of time of not performing, which would have been even harder for me to cope with. I also just look at like, I could never see myself in New York. I never felt safe there, especially not outside of Midtown Manhattan. And I just don't think it's somewhere I would have seen myself long term. Like, I love the suburbs, I love the like scenery and like the atmosphere in Orlando, and obviously family entertainment is centralized down here, so it's really the perfect fit for what I want to do performance wise. And this is really a place I can see myself long term as far as like getting married and settling down, having a family, buying a house, like all those fun things I could absolutely do down here. And it's a lot more affordable than it is in New York, so, or New Jersey. So that's really nice to be able to kind of start checking the things off my like list in my head of things I want to do in my mid-20s that I wouldn't be able to do in New York. I am moving into a 1-bedroom luxury apartment that I'm absolutely in love with, and there's by no means that I would ever be able to move into something like that in New York. So that's really exciting that I can kind of live the life I want to live down here and be financially stable still. I will say it is a little hard to kind of look at auditions now and know that New York is coming back and a lot of auditions are happening again and taking submissions and stuff like that, but they're all gonna be for people that are based in New York or are willing to kind of like up and move themselves across the country, which I'm not really willing to do anymore. I'm really only auditioning in Orlando, which is a lot smaller of a market, and is there's a lot less auditions for that. It's just like I just can't see myself just moving from one state to the next and kind of leaving my stuff behind, and like I can't really sublet my room or anything like that, so it's just really not an option. I am still open to one day doing maybe like a national tour or a touring contract or a cruise line or international contract, whatever, which they do have auditions for that down here, and I'd be very much willing to do it. I'd kind of figure it out if I needed to leave all my stuff behind, but that's kind of the furthest I would go as far as like moving again. Like, I really don't see myself leaving Orlando at all in the near future or for the rest of my life. I think it's a really good fit for me, and I'm hoping it's gonna do really great things for my career and for my future. Let's be honest, if I could live in New Jersey and live in my hometown and have everything I would ever need and be able to perform full-time and do all that, I would. I love my hometown, I love where I was raised, but it just doesn't have anything for me there. And it's sad because all my family's there and I'd love to be able to see them more than I am able to now, but you gotta do what you gotta do, and you can't stay in your hometown forever. But Orlando is kind of becoming my new hometown, and I'm excited for what the future holds for me and kind of where my journey takes me. Again, I hope more auditions open up down here. We're slowly but surely getting there, but I think it's still gonna be a little bit more time before things are fully back to normal as far as all of the shows coming back and at all the theme parks and being at full capacity with no one wearing a mask. We're pretty close to there now, but like we still got a little ways to go. Again, I just wanted to kind of answer that question because I get it a lot that people ask me, do I ever regret moving to Florida? And short answer is really no. I'm really happy being here and I'm really happy with the decision I make. I'm by no means make big decisions like that easily. It took a lot of thinking for me to make that type of a decision, and it was hard to kind of tell people that that's the decision I was gonna make, but I'm really glad I did, and things are kind of working out for me so far. So we'll see where life takes me. But thank you guys so much for watching. As always, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below to stay up to date on my latest content. You can also follow me on Instagram at Graf100 or TikTok at the same name, Graf100, to stay up to date on my content there. And I will see you guys next week, Thursday at 6 p.m. Bye!